Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are doing something incredibly exciting. We're taking complete control of the spaces where we spend a huge chunk of our lives, our workspaces. We'll be diving into some fascinating, deeply validating research on how to design a sensory-friendly workspace that's specifically tailored for the neurodivergent mind. If you've ever felt like your environment is just, actively working against you, you are absolutely not alone. And more importantly, you have the power to change it. We're going to break down exactly how.
Have you ever wondered why sitting at your desk can sometimes feel completely exhausting before you've even started working? I mean, it's incredibly relatable, right? You sit down, open your laptop, and suddenly your mental battery is just drained. For the longest time, people just blamed themselves, thinking it was a lack of motivation or discipline. But the sources we're looking at today reveal that this unexplained workspace fatigue is actually a physiological response. It's sensory triggers overloading your brain before you've typed a single word.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the sensory overload problem. Let's look at the actual science behind why traditional offices and honestly even our standard home setups are completely failing neurodivergent brains. There is a very stark contrast in the baseline experience. A neurotypical brain generally has this automatic ability to just filter out non-essential sensory input. Background chatter, a slightly flickering light, the hum of an AC unit. Those things just fade into the background. But for the neurodivergent brain, especially for folks with ADHD or autism, that automatic filter doesn't always work that way. Instead of fading away, all these sensory inputs actively compete for attention. And they don't just annoy you, they trigger a visceral fight-or-flight response. Your brain is literally burning through precious cognitive energy just to exist in that space, which leaves very little bandwidth for your actual work. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the data backing this up from a recent Frontier study. When comparing students, neurodivergent individuals score significantly higher in the always and often categories for distraction frequency. It shows that neurodivergent folks aren't just a little more sensitive, they are dealing with a much wider range of sensory challenges that actively cause anxiety, stress, and sensory overload. It absolutely proves that these environmental mismatches are legitimate barriers to getting things done. Moving right along to Section 2, seeing clearly, covering lighting and clutter. The visual inputs in your workspace directly dictate your mental bandwidth. Fixing this is often the absolute fastest way to reclaim your focus. We have to talk about fluorescent lights. They are a hidden brain drain. For a lot of neurodivergent professionals, the subtle, almost imperceptible flicker and that low-level buzzing sound of fluorescent lighting is a massive trigger. It causes severe eye strain, fatigue, and irritability. It's basically an aggressive sensory input forcing your brain to constantly process a threatening stimulus. If you have these in your workspace, turning them off and swapping to indirect or natural light is step number 1. But check out the upside when we get this right. Research actually shows that when neurodivergent individuals are placed in workspaces that aim for 300 to 500 lux of warm, adjustable lighting, productivity improves by a massive 90 to 140%. I mean, that is an astounding leap. Using a dimmable LED desk lamp with warm-toned bulbs lets you adjust the brightness to match your needs for the day, lowering it when you're feeling mentally taxed and raising it back up when you really need sharp focus. Okay, beyond lighting, there's visual clutter. Too much stimulation makes focusing impossible, but on the flip side, hiding everything away triggers that classic ADHD out of sight, out of mind trap. So we need strategic visual calm. Here are some rapid-fire, research-backed tips. First, implement a one-in, one-out policy for things on your desk. Second, use desk dividers in soft, neutral colors like beige or moss green to block out distracting peripheral movement. Third, color code your cables to eliminate visual stress and tripping hazards. And finally, keep only the absolute essentials right in your direct line of sight. Everything else needs a designated home. And that brings us to this brilliant quote from ADHD expert Lude. When an item has one home, you stop scanning, you stop guessing, you stop burning energy. Less friction equals more focus available for actual work. I just love that. When you don't have to scan a messy desk to find a pen, you preserve that cognitive energy for the actual task at hand. It's not about being some perfect minimalist. It's just about removing visual friction. That leads us right into Section 3, tuning out, managing noise. Let's talk about the auditory experience. For many, sound is the most aggressive and unpredictable barrier in a workspace. We can close our eyes, but we can't really close our ears, right? So the crucial point here is this specific threshold, 55 decibels. Background noise above this limit drops analytical accuracy by up to 15%, And worse, a single auditory interruption might cost you over 23 minutes to fully refocus. In a standard office or a busy house, staying under 55 decibels naturally is almost impossible. This hits the neurodivergent community incredibly hard. A staggering 43% of adult women with ADHD experience sensory overresponsivity. That means sudden noises like a door slamming, a phone chiming, or just a loud conversation down the hall, they don't just mildly distract them, they completely derail their attention and can induce a genuine stress response. To combat this, you need a concrete acoustic toolkit to keep your environment under that critical 55 decibel mark. High-quality noise-canceling headphones like the Bose Quiet Comfort 45s are practically mandatory. But here's a pro tip. Pair those headphones with brown noise played between 50 and 70 decibels. Unlike white noise, brown noise is deeper. It's way less tiring over long periods, and it's phenomenal at masking unpredictable sounds. In your physical room, try adding thick wool rugs with dense felt underlays, some acoustic curtains, and even simple weather stripping tape around your door to stop sound from seeping through the cracks. All right, on to our final piece of the puzzle. Section 4, movement, comfort, and tech. Shifting our focus to physical and tactile needs, we really have to unlearn this outdated idea that sitting perfectly still at a desk is the only way to be a professional. Actually, sitting perfectly still hinders neurodivergent processing. Certified ADHD coach Karen Magiel frames this perfectly. Movement isn't a distraction, it's fuel for your ADHD brain's focus engine. Providing yourself with a low level of physiological stimulation actually boosts productivity and lets the neurodivergent mind lock in. Fidgeting isn't a bad habit, guys, it is a regulatory tool. The secret is matching your seating and movement tools to whatever cognitive task you're doing. It's a step-by-step process. Step 1. For lighter tasks, like clearing out your inbox or watching a training video, use a walking pad or an under-desk pedal bike. Step 2. For mid-level tasks, engage your core with active seating. Think a wobble chair or a balance ball. Step 3. When you need absolute deep concentration, lock into an auto-tracking lumbar chair that supports your posture so physical discomfort doesn't become a distraction. Basically, give your brain the exact physiological stimulation it needs for that specific moment. And this brilliantly illustrates how combining physical and digital tools builds the ultimate support system. I highly recommend taking a quick screenshot of these assistive tools right now. For task management, Goblin Tools AI is amazing for taking overwhelming, vague tasks and breaking them down into simple step-by-step lists. For organization, Microsoft OneNote offers visual note-taking to reduce mental overload. For a silent fidget, check out Stimumax. They're magnetic sliders that give you silent, professional, tactile stimulation even during meetings. And for sensory calming, a jumbo-weighted lap pad provides deep pressure stimulation to anchor your attention and ease anxiety when you're just feeling overstimulated. There's one more super simple physical addition to your desk that psychotherapist Ban Hass highly recommends: the visual hydration strategy. Timeliness and hyperfocus can cause neurodivergent individuals to literally forget basic self-care. So keep a massive, highly visible water bottle, like one of those huge Stanley cups, right in your line of sight on your desk. It acts as a constant, passive visual reminder to drink water and maintain your physical baseline while you're deep in work. As we wrap up this explainer today, I really want you to internalize this. Your environment should adopt to your brain, not the other way around. For way too long, neurodivergent professionals have tried to force themselves to fit into harsh, loud, super bright boxes. But under the Americans with Disabilities Act, lots of these sensory tools, from specialized lighting to noise-canceling headphones, can actually be requested as reasonable accommodations. You are allowed to design a space that amplifies your natural strengths, like hyperfocus, creativity, and rapid problem-solving, rather than fighting an environment that just drains you. So, I want to leave you with this. Take a look at your desk right now. Think about the lighting, the noise, the clutter, the chair you're sitting in. What single change will you make to your workspace today? Don't try to overhaul the whole shebang at once. Start small. Dim the lights, buy that silent fidget, or just clear off some visual clutter. Make one single change and just watch how much cognitive energy you get back. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and have fun building a space that finally works for you.